Okay, we're at the mid fourth round point here, and it's sort of at that time where you're picking your poison. It's what to do, I mean, just everybody's got to figure out what they're gonna live with not having here in the fourth. And you're seeing those decisions being made one by one. I mean, let's just take them here. So Larry has his defense set up and his offensive line. How many running backs, quarterbacks are going to come back to him at this point? You're going to have to live with bottom of the barrel. At this point, in terms of running, you've got New England who can carry a team probably, I don't know, 160 carries from from the New England bunch, Craig James, in his 2 point some percent fumble. So not crazy fumble, not good. He'll frustrate you. The guys behind him all over 2% as well. If you go the halfback route with Collins, it's just over two. Tupo's at 3, and they're not great runners, and they're going to have to get on the field with those 160 carries of James. Greg Bell is out there. He can carry a team. It's not a spectacular card, but it's a solid card. Very solid. You're not getting much else out of this halfback group, I don't think. But you're getting 262 carries and 1.9% fumbles. I mean, he's got some mean yards, guessed right. Not going to do a lot of damage guessed wrong, though. But if you're Larry here, I mean, that's the sort of squad you're considering. You've got Gerald Riggs. He fumbles. 353 carries. So, no doubt, he can carry a squad. But with his 353 and nice looking card, what does he bring in terms of fumbles is an interesting question. 3.1. Ouch. Biner. Even worse. Since he's got some halfbacks, so you're going to go with James Brooks here. That's not going to feel much confidence going in with that card. Stanford Jennings has a bit better card. Kinda. Not really. He brings you just 79 carries, so that's Cincy. Dorsett, not a very good looking card. Sammy Winder. I mean, all right. All right. I guess. No, you've got some good groups that can't carry where you're going to have to fill them out. All right. So you go with Hokie here, and you get a spectacular looking guessed wrong card, right? It's plus 26, plus 24, long gain, low fumbles, 100 carries. Okay. Earl Campbell is really just a goal line guy at this point. Good goal line guy, which is a goal line guy, short yardage, right? Under that fullback group. Wayne Wilson, I think he's all right. No, he's not all right. Not bringing you much. So, I mean, you need more. You're going to need a halfback group to pair. You have to spend 2 picks to get your team there. Don't think the Giants have much. Detroit's gone. Green Bay gone, of course. Houston, Indy. McMillan is not half bad. He has low fumbles. But oof. And he carries 163. Nothing much there. I don't think Herman Hurd brings you much. 165. Yeah, it's not thrilling. Tony Nathan. Get something there. 118 carries. So I mean, you can piece it together if you can land New Orleans. It's almost like New Orleans. It seems to be kind of the prize right now because you're going to find a way to pair it together. Tyler brings you huge fumbles, so you can go after that card if you want. I mean, it's a pretty good card, you know. I think he brings you lots of carries too. Yeah, 246, but fumbles a bunch. 13 fumbles there. I don't have Kurt Warner yet in Seattle. St. Louis, very ho-hum card of OJ. Can't get more ho-hum than that. No one's going to be guessing run against that one. James Wilder's down there. He's one of the best ones left. 407 carries. But yeah, you're not getting a run call. It's not. Washington has nothing. Riggins gives you 327 carries of that. So pick your poison, right? Larry's picked his poison. Right. Same situation, right? I think they've both taken the same exact groups. Yeah, same groupings. Who's getting the ball? I'll tell you what, Hokie's not getting back to him. Greg Bell's probably not getting back to him. And one of the quarterbacks. Just tough. Seattle, very similar situation. Didn't pick up any carries out of Green Bay fullbacks of note. So sort of picked up Coffee and a blocker, 6-7 blocker, which is good. They're both good, but again, who's getting the ball? Butch, who's getting the ball? Butch. I mean, but it's not like these guys have done poorly. So take me, for example, right? I'm going to end up with a dreadful offensive line. So what does that mean that Rochester has to do? Like a bunch of us, I'm going to have to go shopping for a flat pass quarterback because I'm not going to be able to get that ball downfield with any confidence. I need more runners on top of Green Bay. I probably will take the best fullback group I can and try to get more carries on top of the 40-something I already have from Green Bay. It's just a solid group. It's three guys like 1% or less fumbles. Green Bay's a good solid group. I mean, I had him as number 3 overall halfbacks. They went third. When you count the Rams. But I have no offensive line. Pick your poison. John goes with the Detroit halfbacks there. It's like, Sims, big fumble, 100 carries. Is that the right move? You know, and you get a big splashy card, but he's going to have to pair it up. You need a fullback to go with Sims. That's why I kind of thought that in this 4th round, you'd see Greg go Detroit halfback to pair with Dickerson. I didn't think anybody else would really take a chance with Sims out front like this. But I mean, obviously a great card, just 130 carries, and he's got a fumble problem. At 5% or whatever it is, over 4. So, to me, it's like, well, if you need an offensive stalwart there, it seems to be that Greg Bell is probably your best bet, him or Gerald Riggs, right? Are you going to get some run calls from Greg Bell? I think you would, more than some of these other guys. I mean, look at that line book out, +9, +8 in there. That +1's going to frustrate you. But You can move the chains a couple times here and start getting some run calls. Obviously, big threats on the other columns too, right? 85, long gain. And you're pretty much, you don't have to come back and get a fullback. You sort of prioritize other things. So, Sims could obviously work out. But now Tyke is up. He also has not gone with any position players yet. Right, so he can go quarterback. He can go Greg Bell. He can go Gerald Riggs. He can go New England halfbacks. He can take a pick of the lackluster QB crop that's out there. With this Rams O-line, might be a really good fit for a Greg Bell, where you don't have to worry about fumble very much, and move those chains with the help from that offensive line. Now, Bob is a little bit more well-rounded here, but he's got to think about defense. It's going to be average pass, I believe, at this point. Pick your poison. Pick your poison. Willie setting up for a good offense. If Barkowski can not turn it over, the offense will be okay. The defense is massive question marks. Dennis going to get good probably on D and a very solid offensive line, but who's throwing it? Well, tell you what, I like the way it's looking for Dennis because he can get a Phil Sims. All the long passers kind of work, right? Jim McMahon with his mushrooms, because of that offensive line, kind of enable to unlock the quarterbacks. That's what he's going to have to do. Probably right here, go for Eason or Sims. I would go Sims if I were him. Best long pass out there. Don't worry about the flat pass if you're Dennis. Get Sims, lock in Sims right here, and then you got to worry about piecing together a running game. With Sims, or if New Orleans fullback is there, get New Orleans fullback now and come back. If Sims is gone, get a Lynn Dickey or somebody. I mean, Dickey's, interceptions, problems left and right, and, does not rate very high when you look at expected yards. But, expected yards is one thing. How your team comes together is a different thing. So, you get New Orleans fullback, you get Hokie, you've got that huge guess wrong threat, and you play that off of this long pass card, right? For the, 14 carries or whatever Hokie can give you. That's not a bad way to go. With good. That seems to be a pretty solid approach. Gonna have some pass rush problems, okay. I think I like that the way that's shaping up. If New Orleans fullbacks last to Dennis, that's probably the way to go. John. Now, by the way, I'd recommend New Orleans fullbacks to pretty much anybody at this point. In this group, you may as well give up on defense if you're Willie. And you can have that same dynamic right there with Barkowski, right? That would be great dynamic for Willie. John sets up nicely with Lomax, but it's going to have defense problems. Pick your poison. Nicholas is, he's looking pretty good. Got, I think, good pass defense locked in here with Denver. Has a running game now. Going to have an offensive line problem. So even if you take one here, you're not sitting pretty. So may just try to get his pick of I mean, if Green Bay linebackers are there, you might salvage, your D pretty nicely, right? For any of these sort of offensive focused guys, wouldn't be the worst situation. Willie, for example, right, could look that way. Anybody without a linebacker at this point could look to Green Bay and get a good group. So, I think that's one of the more prized groups out there at this point, Green Bay linebackers. Sitting out there, kind of like a sore thumb. You get a 12-5 outside linebacker pass rush, and you get a very solid, I think, first-round quality sort of group here in the fourth. Toby set up some good defense here. Montana can throw in the flats, I think. Given his offensive line problems he's going to have, that's important. Yeah, throws pretty well. I mean, he's probably top 15. I could look right now, but a little too lazy. Not great, but he's got something. He's not blank on sevens, like a lot of these guys are. Going to start working on a running game, maybe. If going to give up on the OL. It'll be interesting to see if we're just going to give up on OL at this point, or if you're going to invest. Yeah, I don't think it's wise to take OL in this round at this point. They're all so bad that you're better off. There's good groups elsewhere. Why go OL right now? Greg loaded up. He's burned. There's Dickerson has 30-some carries. Peyton has 30-some carries. So a lot of burned carries there. You're not going to be able to fill these guys' carries up. So it sort of burned a lot of carries league wide by doing what he did here. But boy, he's got some poison to worry about, doesn't he? No defense right now. Boy, he'd love Green Bay linebackers to fall to him. Sorry, distracted by the Orioles losing here. Jeez, just so much work to do. Green Bay linebackers would be ideal. If not, you take your pick of the quarterbacks, I guess. Joe, San Diego fullback, picked up Ernest Jackson. It's a decent card. Not great. Nothing big on there at all. 296 carries, just 3 fumbles. So he's got a semblance of a running game. Needs to round it out with a halfback. And there's halfbacks that can round you out at this point. Detroit's gone now. So, I mean, obviously, New England from a running perspective, all in. Cincinnati gives you a best well-rounded group, but just 12th in running. Just pure running on the cards and the columns, not looking at carries. Tyler is your best back out there, I guess, from the halfback perspective. Is that right? There's somebody on San Francisco. Let's go look at those San Francisco halfbacks for a second. You got Tyler. We just looked at him. And Derek Harmon in his 39 carries. Which are meh, not bad. Obviously, with the 17s and 19s in there, but I mean,
Who you rounding out with?
Ernest Jackson's already kind of ho-hum. He may have been hoping for Billy Sims. And Wilder's out there, speaking of ho-hum, ton of carries, but not much to go with it. Also hunting for a quarterback, also hunting for an offensive line. Ken got the Dallas DBs. Dallas DBs could be good, right? They're top 7. How many have gone? DBs, we've got 9 gone. So I thought Dallas was in the group that gives you good. Let's see here. 4-3 pass. Yeah, Dallas gives you good. So that's good. It's good to get good. So that's helpful. Did Toby get good with St. Louis in New York? Just curious about that. St. Louis in New York. Yes. Pretty decent pass rush. So, anyway, back to Ken. Ken has the good locked in. Okay. Gonna need some running. And massive O-line problems with Marino, obviously. I mean, depressing to have Marino and get his butt whooped. Like he might get his butt whooped. Especially if you're not going to have somebody who can get your run calls. And there's not many left that are going to get your run calls out there. And then back to my squad. Good, excellent on defense. Going to have to hang my hat on that. Good group of Green Bay. Should have gone O-line instead of Green Bay halfbacks? Maybe. The answer is maybe. Right? I mean, if some of these halfback groups last until these last 11 picks of the 4th round, then, I could have gone O-line there, gotten KC, been solid, and get a good halfback group. But there's no guarantee that backs are going to last these 11 picks. So the answer is maybe. Green Bay just brings you a plethora of good guys. None of them with major carries, but there's 4 of them, so they add up to about nearly 50 carries, and they're all usable, and they all do a bunch of things well. They do some blocking. All they don't do is catch a long ball. Don't worry about that. I won't be going long very often with this offensive line. Not much of a concern. I'm not worried about being a pass attack, and trying to avoid double teams. That's not, which is why you want to halfback long. That's not going to be the situation with this squad. So probably the right move to get the Green Bay halfbacks there. But if not, I could have wound up with KC O-line. That's who I would have taken. They went much later. I would have taken them there. That would have been my O-line of choice in this spot. So instead, I likely have to pick up a quarterback here. Look for a good flat passing quarterback and maybe pick up some more carries to even add. Maybe. Got to be a good fullback out there. Got to be a good one. Good fullback out there. And there's not that many good fullbacks out there. There's few, starting with New Orleans. But when you look at fullback runners out there, you got Gerald Riggs. Biner and his fumbles. Riggs and his fumbles too. You see Biner's 4.2. I mean, that gets to the absurd level. Kennebrew. How's Kennebrew looking? Usually a bruiser. Not a differentiator from the Green Bay halfbacks. Not worth going, from my point of view, not going out on a limb for him. Others who didn't invest in halfbacks as I did might find that compelling. Sammy Winder. Kinda. He's got a okay card. I already have Jerry Ellis on my squad. There's McMillan. Let's just take a quick look at McMillan. But you can see there's not a great group waiting to be taken. New Orleans stands out. There's McMillan. He brings you a deep ball. Yeah, that's nice. But again, that's something I'm going to be pining for with this particular squad. McMillan's okay. Am I going to say, oh, yeah, I need to get him? No, probably not. Better off getting a great receiver core. Even though there's not much separation among a lot of the receivers, I doubt he adds. I mean, obviously, Hokie adds to anybody. I'm surprised he hasn't gone yet. I'm surprised he didn't go over Sims. You get low fumbles, similar carries, and you preserve your halfback. Where there's more choices to sort of round out and get some carries. You get Hokie, you get Earl Campbell for short yardage work. You bring him in every 2nd and 2, every 3rd and 1. Eat up carries with Earl there. Get those first downs, move the chains, and get Hokie back in there. He should be gone here soon. So pick your poison, everybody. That's where we are right now. We'll come back to you perhaps a little later on.
Big opening for Tony Dorsett. Look out, he's got great speed. 99 yards and a half. Dorsett down the sideline. Stays in bounds. Can you believe that?